Hi, everybody. This is Gary Dean with Sentiment Timing, and this is our technical video report for Sunday, July 27th, 2025. Hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend, and let's get started. So, I was kind of thinking we were going to have a little bit of a resting period on Friday, but obviously that wasn't the case. We had the Bulls, just seemed like they're destined to get to the 6,400. They made it up to 63.95, and then had a little bit of a pullback towards the end of the day. Again, we still have these sell signals in place, but right now they're being ignored. But we should have a pretty volatile week. One is we have the Fed meeting on Wednesday. Typically, the Bulls like to trap the Bears on that, meaning they just kind of say grind it higher and not let them out heading into the meeting. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but in any case, so I think that's really going to be the market moving event this week is going to be the Fed meeting. But just going off of what we did Friday, you can see this is that trend line that I had coming from here. Again, I'm not sure if this is the one that plays out, but you can see we hit the top of it. That's when we had a little bit of a pullback. So further, if we're just going to use let's say, higher high or lower low and a higher high type method to figure out where we are and what we would need to look for. I mean, the Bears really, they would need to get the price back below the 63.61. That would give us this little bit of a lower low. Again, I was looking at it as a possible we could be making some type of head and shoulders pattern, and I'd be looking for a move to come back down to right around that 6,300. If we're just looking at an ABC move where we're going this high, this low to this high to this low, this is giving us a target right around that 64.18. So if the Bulls are going to continue higher, obviously we have the resistance at 6,400, and then we have the 64.18, which is just a pattern target. From there, it's really we're going to have to wait and see what the Fed does. The betting community is, thinking that he's not going to do anything on Wednesday. So the surprise would probably be if he did something. I just don't know if that would send a message that they're, maybe a little, say, concerned about the economy, because that's typically when they just start cutting rates. They don't cut rates when you're in a good economy. So it's we're in kind of a push-pull type situation here with what's going to happen, because it would definitely be a shock if they lowered rates, and maybe people will start reading into it. I'm not really quite sure, but on a pattern basis, obviously 6,400, then we're going to look up at that 6,420. On a downside, if we get some of that ever, we're looking right around that 6,380 as support, and then we're going to come back down here to the 63.63. Below that, then we're coming down and testing the 200-day moving average at the 63.35. So the Bulls have they have a lot of support levels they can work with. Eventually, we are going to get a deeper pullback. Maybe that starts in August. It's really, it's hard to say on this one right at this point, because we've just been melting up, and there really has been no, we've had a couple, deep pullbacks. But one thing that I'm noticing right now that I was a little surprised about was the small caps have been on Friday, even though they closed up, all right, they spent the majority of the day in the red, and it was we got caught on one when we did it. We ended up losing $40 for the day on the fund, which I wasn't happy about, because we very easily could have done a lot better than that. I just I was kind of expecting some type of little pullback, and them using next week heading into the Fed to start grinding it higher, but they're on the mission to get to the 6,400. So bearish divergences, I guess we have some a little bit there. Again, I still think that they're going to try for that 6,400. And if we do get some kind of drop, say Monday, then and it takes out this support and comes here, then I'd still be expecting that test at a 6,400. But again, we take it on a day-to-day basis. 15-minute chart, we do have some divergences here, but like I said, it's just kind of a melt up higher. From these lows, we haven't really had more than a 60, say 63.80 down to 60, a 20-point intraday drop and stuff like that. So we're extremely overbought, but that, it could just get more overbought. I'm hoping that we're going to start seeing the small caps join back in and outpacing the S&P, because that's been the easy trade. But the past couple days, well, yesterday especially, it really did not pick up until towards the end of the day, where we started seeing buyers coming in, but they were kicking and screaming to move the IWM higher. So tomorrow, short term, 63.77 for support. Below that, we have that support at 63.63. Then we're looking at a test at the 63.35. We'll just leave it there, because if it takes that, then we start looking at levels coming down here. But right now, those are the immediate support levels that I would watch. It'd be at the 63.80, and then we're going to go down and put it at the 63.62, and then we just have our the support that is right here at the 63.37, and that's really where I would anticipate buyers stepping in, and if they don't, then we're looking at a test at the 62.81. So really not a whole lot to go over, so enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you guys in the morning.